Thursday evening at 9 o'clock in my aunt's family room. I cracked open that lame book by Ken Roberts, and that's not to be disrespectful, but I thought that I had figured it all out. That simple little book was going to do it for me. All it did was give me the fire to start doing it. But I had a direction. I had a goal. What was the goal? If I could make $1,000 a month and save that, by the time I'm 40, I'll have $1 million. And honestly, I didn't understand the effects of inflation. I didn't think about all those things. I just wanted to have $1 million, because back then, $1 million, that was really something. $1 million is nothing now. Homes cost that now, and they're not even really worth it. Period. Okay. A lot of people out there on social media saying, I got $1 million house. No, you have a house that's overpriced. Okay. And the home that I purchased that I'm speaking to you in right now, I paid $638,000 for. Is it worth it? No. They're saying I could get $750 for it now. Is it worth it? No. So $1 million is not a lot of money. But in the beginning, when I sat down that Thursday evening at 9 o'clock, at the completion of reading that book, because I read it from cover to cover, I couldn't put it down. Before I went to bed, I had pen and paper out, and I'm calculator crazy, clicking the buttons. Okay, if I do this, if I do that. You know what I'm talking about. You've done it too. You're sitting at your job, you're sitting there bored. Over the weekend, you can't wait to start trading. Okay, if I go in and I get 10 pips this day, I get 10 more pips over here. And you know, you're nodding your head, you're smiling, you're laughing. You know exactly what it is. You're calculator crazy. Okay. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But as soon as you start saying, I want to make millions and millions of dollars in your first year, that's stupid. But what I was doing was I was coming up with a way where if I just did the lowest objective and say with losing trades, and I eke out a net gain of $250 a week, that's $1,000 a month. That's obviously taking an effect for taxation and commissions. So I was preparing myself to have adversity. I was preparing myself to be imperfect. And I had structure to what I was doing, why I was trading. I'm trying to eke out a net gain after all costs and taxation of $250 a week. Now, there's an average of 4.3 weeks per month. Not every month has just 4 weeks. Some of them have 5. But I did the math simply on 4 weeks and $250 a week. So that would give me my $1,000. And I was going to stick to that. I was going to work a job. I don't care, because when I'm turning 40, I'm not going to be working for the man. I'm not going to be doing those things everybody else does. The structure of me doing that, once I started making money, I abandoned it. In other words, when you have a vision, you have a plan for your future, it's best to obviously write it down. Write it down so that way it's codified and you know this is what you're aiming for. Something strange happens. There's a metamorphosis that occurs when you start making consistent money. Everything goes out the window. It's like casino time. You lose all aspirations for being structured about everything you're doing. You're just saying, well, let's just see what happens if I do this many contracts and I try to hold for this much. Something's changed, not for the better. So over years of looking back and looking at journal entries and the times where I struggled and the times where I had epiphanies where it felt like I was really gaining in my understanding, it was when I was referring back to having structure in the way I was trading. Not in the sense that optimal trade entries or order blocks in their infancy, none of those types of things. I'm talking about the structure of what it is I'm doing as a trader. What's the motivation? What's my goal? They have to be specific, because if you don't have specific goals, you won't know when you're going outside the lines and boundaries of what would lead to realistic results getting to that objective. Would it be reasonable for me to expect a net gain in 1992 of $250? I know some of you are laughing, thinking, $250? This guy's showing $7,000, $10,000 days. Humble beginnings, folks. It's where you're at right now. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be ashamed of it. Everyone starts there, but most people fail right there. They don't ever come out of that. And I can tell you the blueprint to get out of that stuff and get to the next level and hopefully get to where I am now. You'll do things I'm going to talk about in this series and in this woodshed moment. Taking you to the woodshed and correcting your perspective on how you should be thinking you're going to make this money. Okay. You have to have a very, very low hanging fruit objective and then increase that gradually. Very, very small, slow, incremental, modular gains. That's how you do it. If you jump and you think, okay, I have a low hanging fruit objective. I hit it. I've been hitting consistently. All right, now I'm just going to go. I want $10,000 a month. You're going to fail because you didn't make that transition from $250 a week to $500 a week to $750 a week to $1,000 a week to $1,500 a week. That's a gradual increase. You get acclimated to the risks, the feeling of putting on that type of trade as it grows exponentially. You don't even know what that feels like. You have no idea what that feels like. And the wins are scary as hell. They're so scary. Yes, I said it right. The wins, not the losses. The losses haven't really stopped you from trading. As long as you had money in your account, you kept taking trades. So that's not a fear factor for you. You're smiling again. That wasn't a deterrent for you to stop trading. As long as you had money in there. Oh, I lost? Okay, well, I'm pissed off now. I'm going to go in there for more. And they're going to pay me with interest. Oh, yeah. And the interest was paid. You paid it. Now you're in greater drawdown or you're blowing your account like I did dozens of times over my career. There's no shame in that. You have to learn from those things, but you are going to be doing things at a slower pace. That's how you make ends meet. Things are hard. The markets are hard right now. I've said this throughout this year, and mentorship knows this as well. Things just are not as clean as they usually are. And it's not surprising, but it's not impossible. Obviously, you've seen that. So you have to pick your shots. You have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and when to avoid it. That's part of your trading plan, but doing as part of your growth plan to make ends meet. Where are you going to start? Where's your low-hanging fruit threshold? What are you aiming for? Well, one of the things I like to teach is, and where did I get the $1,000? I don't have a specific reason for $1,000. I just felt that $1,000 to me at that time was a lot of money. And if I could save it every single month, nobody in my family was saving $1,000 and they were working. So I'm thinking, I'm working as a vendor, filling up candy machines and servicing soda and snack and cold food machines and coffee machines. If I can save $1,000 a month, I'm doing better than everybody else. And they can laugh at me that I'm making less than $300 a week, but I'm saving $1,000 a month. That's how I looked at it. So most people were looking at me when I would tell them what I was trying to do. I was going to learn how to trade and make money in the markets, the commodity markets at that. And they would crinkle their nose up at me and say, dude, are you serious? Like, you're going to lose your ass in that. You're going to lose your shirt. There's no way you're going to find profitability. People go broke and kill themselves. And that's true. And honestly, by the grace of God, I didn't do those things that would have led to those types of decisions. Not that I would have ever harmed myself, but I've known people that these markets have caused them to check out. And it's sad because they put too much stress on themselves in the beginning. See, that's what educators do wrong. And admittedly, when I first started teaching way before I should have in 1996, I didn't incorporate this in my teachings. I was teaching go for broke, get rich or die trying, that type of mentality, everything all in. Without being vulgar, I almost went there. I did not incorporate what I was learning at the time, which was small, little incremental shifts in growth, going higher and higher gradually. And when I would get the big run-ups in my equity as a new trader, admittedly, I couldn't tolerate that excitement, that overzealous feeling of, I just made more money than my entire family collectively in a year, just this week. That's too much for a young man, especially from where I came from. Like it's unfathomable. It's a scary, overwhelming, intimidating feeling. And the only way I could make myself believe that it was real was I had to do it again right away. Otherwise, it was luck. And sometimes I would get lucky again. But eventually, pushing my luck and trying to do better than the last 2 trades, 3 trades, more risk, no stop. It's going to go in my favor because the last 3 did, over leveraged. And then the account gets blown. So what I discovered and how to prevent that was I came up with a way